The film opens with a nearby on fingers irately composing on a console. Documents are being erased from a framework. Bugs kept in tubes as exploration guinea pigs are killed as once huge mob with poison gas. Richard runs from the Oscorp expanding, returning to Peter. Richard is recording a message with a webcam. Individuals will say I'm a beast for what I've done. He hears Peter call for himself and stops his message. A vehicle pulls up as Mary expresses farewell to Peter. Peter is plainly distressed. Richard and Mary are on a personal luxury plane. He attempts to promise her, making sense of that their life has been changed until the end of time. Richard would rather not put Peter through that. Mary jumps into the washroom similarly as one of the flight group, Bill Hell, gets out of the cockpit. Richard takes note of the man has gone to a sink and has all the earmarks of being washing blood off his mind. Unexpectedly, the group fellow threatens to use a weapon and compromises Richard. He secures Mary in the restroom and gets ready to shoot Richard. A battle follows and Mary is shot. Richard frantically beats the hooligan. Mary reminds Richard to complete the transfer similarly as the hooligan thunders back to life. They scrap to and fro as we see the pilot, Timothy Adams, is dead and the plane falls into a precarious jump. Richard shoots through a window and clutches the PC with the most grounded feline 5 in presence. The hired gunman flies through the window to his demise and Richard affirms that the record is moved. The plane dives to its destruction and sliced to dark. Now present day. Music rings in as the camera follows Spider-Man man tumbling to earth. A major tow truck is being driven by a bear person with a Russian pronunciation. Spidey swings amazingly through structures close behind. The thugs blow the lid and jump into the van. There, Spidey bounces onto the tow truck and takes part in some Spidey exchange with Sitzevik. We slice to an Oscorp representative, the socially incompetent nerd Max Dillion, staggering through a group with an armful of outlines. The prints get thumped from his hands and roll into the road similarly as Spidey and Sitzevik barrel around the bend. Spidey jumps to the salvage and keeps Max from being crushed by a taxi. Many cop vehicles collide with the truck sticking it in. His telephone rings. Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone, is at their secondary school graduation hanging tight for him. He's truly late. Gwen is called up to convey her valedictory discourse. Peter isn't there. Comes to graduation and kisses Gwen in front of an audience. They make a date where Peter will join Gwen and her family for faint total at 8 p.m. That night, Peter makes an appearance to the date, yet won't come into the Chinese cafe that Gwen and her family are at. Gwen meets him at the entryway and they discuss her father and the commitment Peter made. Peter adores her. However, he was unable to deal with losing her in view of his activities. She's finished. The following morning, Peter is on another outwardly shocking city watch. After a charming scene with Auntie May, we slice to Max Dillon, who has truly gone crazy after his opportunity meeting with Insect Man. He imparts a lift to Gwen with whom he shares his Insect Man story. Unbeknownst to him, Gwen values his interest. In the interim, Harry Osborn, Dane DeHaan, gets back to visit his sickly dad. Norman looks terrible, his skin is stained and his hands are hook-like. He hands Harry a drive with his exploration. Gwen gets a speedy message about uplifting news in regards to her grant. In the meantime, the vast majority of Oscorp is being permitted to leave right on time to go to a commemoration for Norman. However, Max is told by his manager, BJ Novak, to remain behind and look at an issue with the bioelectric power network. The room is a wreck of electric eel tanks and peculiar hardware, yet winds up shocking himself and falling into the tank of eels. His change has started. In the meantime, in a meeting room, Harry is being educated regarding different Oscorp inconveniences. Thusly, he blows up with his contempt for them, raising his dad's right hand, Felicia Strong, Felicity Jones, as his second in order. Peter Parker is declared, causing a commotion in the room. They haven't seen each other in years. He came to monitor his close buddy following his dad's passing. After an off-kilter second, the companions reconnect with a giggle. In a nearby riverside park, Harry and Peter get up to speed. Harry appears to be truly glad to move away from his Oscorp show and they bum around the city together. Harry apologizes for the distance in their relationship, which prompts a discussion about why Peter's folks left. Harry likewise discovers that Peter has a sweetheart, and Peter says Gwen's name, referencing she's an Oscorp representative. A van is checking their discussion, which transforms into a conversation of Max's mishap. Slice to the lab where Dylan's body has been reserved.